What if I told you guys that Magic the Gathering is literally a representation of all the different characteristics, psychology traits, and spiritual growth transitions one makes within their life? Shalom Goyim. Today I will be connecting the Magic the Gathering mana colors to psychology, spiritual growth, and the different phases of human life. In this video you will learn what the different color archetypes are, life phases, color transitions, and alignment with God's design. And for all you atheist goyim out there who are going to kvetch the moment they heard the word God and close this video, keep listening, because you can still be an atheist and agree with all the stuff that I'm about to say. Okay, so let's get started. First we have white, which is the color of order, structure, and morality. We have blue, which is the color of knowledge, reflection, and mastery. We have black, which is the color of shadow, ambition, and transformation. We have red, which is the color of passion, energy, and creativity. And we have green, which is the color of growth, instinct, and grounding. Before I go any deeper into the mana colors, I need to make something really clear. Colors are neutral. They are tools. They're not evil or good by themselves. Just like fire can warm your home or burn it down, mana colors only become moral or immoral based on the intention behind them. Black isn't evil. It's the color of ambition, survival, transformation, and facing the shadow. Red isn't chaos. It's energy, honesty, passion, and movement. White isn't purity for its own sake. It's structure, responsibility, community. Every color expresses a different part of human nature. Now let's talk about one of the most underrated parts of Magic, the multicolor combos, because this is where you start to see the layers of human nature. A single color is a single instinct, but when you combine the colors, you get a personality, a worldview, a way of living. This is why two people can both be red but act completely differently. Red-white is disciplined fire. Red-black is rebellious fire. Red-green is primal fire. So let me walk you through each major color pair, and I'll give you real-life examples of the people who embody them. Azorius, white-blue, the orderly mind. Azorius is structure plus logic. The rule followers, planners, administrators. They are bureaucrats, lawyers, policy makers, teachers who love systems, people who read the instructions first. Azorius energy builds stable systems so society doesn't fall apart. When Azorius traits are taken too far, those qualities twist into the opposite of what they intend. White's desire for order plus blue's desire for optimization means controlling every detail of how others live. Shadow traits can be in the form of micromanagement, rigid rules with no flexibility, prioritizing rules over people, policing others' behavior. In other words, I know what's best, so I'll decide for everyone. This is the authoritarian bureaucrat side of Azorius. I don't care if this gets me in trouble with YouTube, I'm going to say it anyway. So, Azorius energy taken to the max perfectly describes the people in power during COVID who were controlling everything. I have one thing to say to you, Susan. Actually, I'll let Brother Nathaniel say it.
There's no future for your boy Washitsky. He's dead.
Without delving too much into politics, during COVID, we witnessed a level of control where authorities and those in power sometimes overstepped, deciding how others should live their lives. So now we'll talk about Selesnya. Selesnya is community plus growth, nurturing, stable, and connected. They show up as gentle parents, community builders, environmentalists, pastors, mentors, healers, people who hold family together. Selesnya is the archetype of the caretaker who sees everyone as part of one living whole. Now we'll talk about Simic, which is blue and green, the adaptive thinker. Simic is knowledge plus evolution, growth through innovation. Real-world examples: biohackers, researchers, inventors, people who are always learning and upgrading their life, fitness scientists, functional medicine people. Simic believes nature can evolve, and we can evolve with it. There is a shadow side to Simic, and that is desiring too much progression, and then it gets to a certain point where progression becomes non-human. This is known as transhumanism. Now we'll talk about Demir, blue and black, the hidden strategist. Demir is intelligence plus secrecy, the mind operating in the shadows. They appear as strategists, intelligence analysts, hackers, chess players, people who think 5 steps ahead, quiet people who watch everything and reveal nothing. Demir isn't evil. It's the archetype of the subtle mind that wins before the fight even begins. From the conspiracy theorist lens, it's the archetype of hidden power brokers and secret agencies, such as the CIA, those imagined forces pulling strings behind the scenes. Demir embodies that idea: information as a weapon and power that thrives in silence. We are now moving on to my favorite color combination in all of magic, Rakdos. Rakdos is a personal desire fused with raw emotion, bold, creative, expressive, and completely unfiltered. This is the color pair of artists who turn pain into beauty, comedians who push boundaries, rebels and rule breakers, musicians, performers, entrepreneurs who bet everything on a dream, anyone who can take chaos and channel it into art. Rakdos is the human spirit refusing to sit still or stay quiet. Because this color combo means so much to me, I want to share a bit about my own life and how my color identity shifted over the years. Like most kids, I started off simple and innocent, focused on playing, exploring, eating, just being alive in my body. You could call that my red-green phase, but even then, my Rakdos side flickered through whenever I tried to make my classmates laugh or do something a little outrageous. Then came my teenage years. I went through a rough period, pressured to study, constantly told what I needed to achieve, to focus, to prepare for a respectable future. But I wasn't good at studying, and I felt like I was constantly failing. It wasn't that I didn't want a future, it was that the path being pushed onto me didn't feel like mine. I wasn't following what genuinely lit me up, making people laugh, entertaining, creating. Looking back, I think a lot of suffering comes from living out of alignment with who you really are at the time. In my early adulthood, I swung hard into provocation, making edgy jokes, pushing buttons, trying to get reactions. It was raw Rakdos energy without much direction. Then in my 30s, things changed. I got married, got a stable job, and tried to mature. I drifted into a white-blue phase, seeking structure, stability, responsibility. And honestly, that phase taught me a lot and grounded me in ways I needed. But now, at 33, I feel myself returning to my Rakdos roots. I spent 3 years in a normal job, doing the respectable thing, and I can feel it slowly wearing me down. That's why I started streaming and making YouTube videos. I'm trying again to express myself, to create, to entertain, to build something that feels true to who I am. Maybe it will work out, maybe it won't, but I'd rather chase it with everything I've got than go back to the version of myself that felt trapped and miserable as a teenager. I'd rather fail in the pursuit of something real than succeed at something that isn't me. That to me is Rakdos, embracing the fire inside you, even if it burns a little on the way out. We'll now talk about Gruul, red-green, the untamed. Gruul is instinct plus passion, primal energy. They show up as athletes, fighters, people who hate officers, outdoors workers, and tradesman, anyone who thrives through movement and raw strength. Rule represents the wild part of humanity, the animal soul. Golgari psychology is about survival and growth through decay. Black is our raw drive to endure. Green is acceptance of life's cycles. Together, they turn our darker experiences into fuel for new growth. We will now talk about blue and red. Is it the genius? Is it his intellect plus passion, the spark of innovation? Examples: engineers, inventors, hyperactive thinkers, ADHD creative geniuses, coders who stay up all night, anyone who mixes logic with excitement. Is it says, what happens if I push this idea to its limit? We now talk about Boros, white and red, the duty-fueled warrior. Boros is discipline plus courage. Real-world examples: soldiers, firefighters, security guards, martial artists, activists, people who fight for what they believe is right. Boros is righteous action, with the courage to show up every day. White and black, Orsov, the deal maker. Orsov is order plus ambition, control through structure. Examples: wealth managers, religious institutions, lawyers in high finance, debt collectors, CEOs who love rules because they know how to use them. Orsov is the psychology of power through systems. I'm sure many of you will know that a lot of the religious institutions do become corrupt. This would be an example of Orsov energy that has been taken too far. We all move through different color energies as we grow. Childhood feels red and green, instinct and emotion. Teen years lean red and black, identity and conflict. Adulthood brings white and blue, stability and learning. Parenthood shifts to white and green, nurture and responsibility. Midlife can circle back to red and black for reinvention. And maturity settles into green and blue, wisdom and acceptance. None of these phases are good or bad. They're just different chapters. A red-black midlife push isn't a crisis. It's courage and transformation. What matters isn't the color you're in, but the intention behind it. The real goal is integration, pulling the best from every color so you can shift when life calls for it. Some people use astrology or personal cycles to track these transitions. Others use magic's color philosophy. Whatever your system, the point is awareness. When you meet difficult people, try to see their color energy too. Most struggles come from pain, not malice. Understanding that makes you stronger and more grounded. So embrace your transitions. Use your colors consciously, and grow with the cycle instead of fighting it. More on this in the next video. My intention with this stream is to just have fun and play some magic and make people appreciate the game, because it's so much more deep than just a trading card game. And also it helps you appreciate life as well. We live in a mysterious world that is full of magic. Magic is just humans' ability to gather information before science had the ability to express it in language. That's all it is. So don't think I'm crazy. Magic is very much a real thing. We see it in psychological warfare, we see it in psyops, we see it in symbolism, we see it in companies like Kraft with their logos, we see it in their names. It's in the cards, it's in the name, Magic the Gathering. That's why when we're going back to what we were talking about before with the tag locks, this is also called magic contagion. It's the connection of material, biological objects with the person who is the original owner of the genetic material. There is no separation between the two because they both carry the same genetic signature. It's all connected. That's why these ideas, all throughout culture, throughout every culture, they all believe this shit. Richard Garfield, the guy who made this game, he studied all the different cultures, and he was able to understand that all these different cultures, they all carry the same ideas. That's why it's in the name, Magic the Gathering. You're literally gathering the mana you get from the lands, you're gathering creatures, you're gathering cards, you're gathering players to play with you. It is all connected. What I'm saying, I hope it resonates with you and it helps you appreciate life. I hope it helps you appreciate the game. And I hope to red pill you about the truths of our world, because people do use magic. They use propaganda, they use symbolism, and they do it in a way which is not within the best interests of the population. Okay, and yes, it is mostly Jews who are behind it all. That's why they've been thrown out of 109 different nations. Well, not different nations, they've been thrown out 109 times throughout history by all sorts of different nations. And then they're the ones who are Antichrist. Jesus was not a Jew, okay? He was an Old Testament Jew, which is very different to the Ashkenazi Jews of today, all right? And I hope that I bring people closer to Christ. I hope I bring people closer to God by telling the truth. And I hope I do it in a fun, cool way for Magic players. Because I know you Magic nerds tend to close your eyes when it comes to this sort of thing. But I hope to use this game as a gateway to help open your eyes to the world of propaganda, power, and corporations and secret societies. You can call them secret societies, you can call them Illuminati, call them Freemasons, Ashkenazis, Khazarians, Jews, doesn't matter. Whatever the fuck you want to call them. But there is a they. And they do very much use magic. And they have done it all throughout history. I'm going to turn the sound up a bit. And I'm going to stop yapping and focus on the game. Because I want to get my wins, I want to get my coins and my cards.